Hey Rob, how's it going?
Good, Doug. Thanks for having me.
So this is I think it's the fourth session we've had, and you're in Thailand, so I'm having coffee right now, but it's night where you're at, correct?
That's right. It's about 9:30 Monday, and today is the first day of Thai New Year. So, for those of you who don't know, it's called Songkran, and basically it's a citywide water fight. And my wife and I were driving our bike into the city, and we just got soaked. People take buckets, hoses, water guns, and we came back drenched. So it's cool, but it's different out here.
How many more days do you have of that?
So it's officially three. Today's the first day, so Wednesday's when it ends. But we keep hearing that it's started kind of on Sunday, and then it might go through Friday. It's kind of unofficial.
So until people get tired of doing that. Okay,
Yeah.
got it. All right. So, trying to think of all the stuff that we covered over different sessions, but my mind is a little blurry. I can't quite remember. However, I do know the last time we talked a lot about, or at least towards the end, a lot about the content flow and sort of like what happens when you want to order content, and we looked at the opportunity of taking advantage of sort of not really automating the process, but automating and getting as much done as we could ahead of time. And that would be templates. So I asked Rob to go ahead and take a look at every template that he could identify, potentially that he would need to write more than once. I'm not sure if I stated that right, but the idea is Rob has created a bunch of templates that go along with this process. So Rob, perhaps you can state it in a more eloquent way.
Sure. So one of the things I was running into, I would do niche research, and it would be time to write an Amazon review, and I'd just be like, tell my writer, hey, I kind of want a positive review. Can you write it sort of like this? And I would do a lot of research, and it was just a lot of energy, and I'd end up making my own templates on the fly as I would go. Um, so I tried my best to create templates for automating this process. So now I have an Amazon review template that I'm going to use. Doesn't matter what niche I'm in. Um, and most of your followers are probably familiar with that homepage. That's like, or not the homepage, but that main page you're going for on each site. Like, what's the best, I don't know, USB mouse? I used to think that it had to be super unique to a particular niche, but now I've got sort of the things that need to be included. It doesn't matter what niche it's on, and have been able to create this template. And then, in addition to that, I've got templates for the process along the way. So, hiring, like a job post, an interview, offer letter, and we can dive into those as we go.
Okay, cool. And I think what might be interesting, so we'll look at a couple of these templates and see what's in them. Uh, I guess I'll also ask you, Rob, about the process of you know I guess listing everything out, breaking it down, thinking through everything ahead of time, and then actually going through, figuring out where you needed the templates, and then writing them out. And then the part that I'm really interested in is how you feel now that you have this stuff in place versus how you did before. So you don't have to answer now. We'll come back to it after we take a look at a few. And I think you probably have a couple
Okay.
questions as well, right?
Yeah. So,
But we can come
if
to those.
we,
You don't have to ask them now, but I just want to make sure
okay.
we give you time. Now, do you have a favorite template that you want us to take a look at right now?
Um, I I like my Amazon review template. Actually, took most of it from someone else online, but
Okay, we can look at that one. Right. So the intent here is, I guess someone that you hire will get this template, and then that'll help them understand what they need to write.
So I guess let's take a step back, and there's two main type of templates that I've created throughout this, and so creating an Amazon review template is sort of helping the writer write the article in the way I see, the way I want it to be written, so I don't have to keep recreating the assignment. But then I've also got a lot of templates that are just procedural, like it's a here's your job, here's your offer, or your writing's not up to par, you need to be fired. So um, does that answer your question?
Yes. Yeah, I think so. Well, okay. So I understand the context. This particular template, when does someone get it?
Someone gets this when they are hired, and part of the writing assignment is going to be conducting writing Amazon reviews.
Okay, perfect. And right now, right, you have, I don't know, like a dozen templates or something like that. And right now, you obviously know who gets what template at what time. You've come really far, but at some point, right, it'd be really cool if another person, like a project manager, would know, like, basically you would be out of the equation, and then the project manager knows, hey, at this part of the process, I need to send this new hire this template to write X article, and then you don't have to be there anymore. So that's why I asked that question.
Okay.
So, and obviously you know what this one's for, but at some point it may be like up at the top, like at this point in time, it's triggered to be sent after a hire. So, okay. And just looking through here, so it's pretty straight up. You basically went through some successful, I guess, review type articles, and you saw the common elements and the things you like, as well as the number of words and examples of it, kind of exactly what you want to see in there. Are there any specific details you want to highlight here?
I think it's pretty straightforward. Um, what was eye-opening for me in this entire process was, maybe I'm going to miss out on, I don't even know, maybe I'm not, but I felt like maybe I was going to miss out on saying something about it. But if you're going to, with my goal of, creating this system where you're creating websites, like this is the 80/20, like this is what needs to get done to create an effective review. And it was just huge for me to let go of being so attached to every single review. So not one specific things, but I just feel very comfortable that this template is going to resonate with people who come looking for that particular product.
Gotcha. Now, are you willing to share this template? Like, can we put links for the under the video and
So,
stuff?
yeah, I feel bad because this was this was on someone else's blogs about doing Amazon reviews, and I was like, you know what, I kind of like it. So
Whose blog was it?
content champion.
Okay, maybe we'll throw them a link too. I mean, you changed it up a little bit, right?
uh, I mean, I his was kind of incomplete in some areas where he didn't have some of these headings,
Okay,
but more or less it's I don't know, it's fairly similar, but it's publicly up there for people to take. So I didn't feel like I was you know
okay. Yeah,
doing
yeah,
doing anything wrong.
yeah, yeah. I think it's fine. You adapted it for what you needed it for. We'll link him up as well, so it's like he or she gets full credit, whoever this person is. So yeah, yeah, I'm good with that. Cool. This looks really good, and I like. I feel like in the past, one of our past conversations, you may have mentioned, hey, I feel like some of these products are so unique. I'm not sure if I can really like make it generic enough to be reusable. But I think going through the exercise, you answered your own, fears with that, right?
Yep. I'm
Okay,
really, really happy with the progress. So
cool. All right. Anything else on this Amazon review template before we take a look at another?
I guess if you were a writer, does does it make sense? Like, I mean, if I said, hey, write about this coffee maker or whatever, and just follow this template, like, I mean, I guess part of this is I just need to get this in action and just make changes as I go. So
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So part of it would be, I guess, like the agile project management sort of outlook where you get it out there and you get feedback immediately. So, you send this to the first writer. If they ask a question about, these four things, you may take a look at it and see if you can make it more clear. And it's just like an ongoing process. It's a living document. This isn't intended for you to write it once and then never touch it. It's like every time you have an
right,
opportunity to make an improvement, you should do it.
yeah, and I'm starting to get that feeling as I go. When I first started doing this, I kind of froze up a little bit because I was like, hey, if I'm not doing it perfect, like I was trying to think ahead to everything that would come up, and the reality is you're not going to catch everything, and it's going to evolve as it goes along. So
Yeah. Yeah. And technically, like, if you spend enough time on this, right, you could have gotten it like 99% instead of 90, or you could send it out and try and use it for the first time, and then in like 15 minutes, you'll make up that like other 9%.
sure,
So it's just a
yep.
faster way to get feedback. Cool. Okay. So that's the review template. And let's see, we could take a look at another one of the templates as well.
Do you want to go down to more of like the flow
Sure.
of hiring? Okay, so let's go to where it says you see the bold create assignment,
Yes.
and it should read create writing assignment because I have separated it between actually having the research done and the writing done. Um, so I like the full writing assignment template. So it's on line 29.
Okay.
And do you want me to just kind of go over what's going on here?
Yes.
Okay, so at this point, I this is a job posting. So you go to Elance or Odesk and you write in your own title, like on their thing. And instead of putting the instructions in Odesk, I'm just going to say, see Google Doc instructions, right? And so they come here and they're not going to see the full assignment. It's basically, I already know the total words they're going to write. I've got these highlighted areas. I'm just going to put it in. I'm going to tell them the niche they're in, how many articles, and then here, the second highlighted area is the type of article. So as I get all my templates done, like best USB mouse, like that's my main page. I have all these templates. I'm going to know what to include in here so they have an idea of the niche and what kind of things they're going to write about. Then they're going to go down, and I have these three sort of interview type questions, and they're going to respond back to this in the offer. And so that's how I'm going to filter my candidates.
Okay. Um, did you base this on your previous job postings or something else?
Not no, just based on trying to incorporate more of an interview type process.
Okay.
Sounds like you might have some questions about this.
No, not particularly. Just the format. I didn't know if you drew from
Oh
Other
yeah, the format. Yeah, I is it using the Word doc instead of Excel?
No, no, I mean, I think it's all fine. I was just curious. That's all.
Oh no, I've never. This is brand new. Never really done this.
Got
Nothing
it.
I have that looks like this ever.
Got it. Got it. Okay. Um, let's see. Yeah, it seems fine. And I like you put, you know, is the deadline okay? It's all right if you need more time. So you're showing you have some flexibility, but and I do see if you fail to meet deadlines, you will be fired. I don't know. I'm coming from a corporate area, so I'm like, I don't know if you want to say fired. Maybe you say, you know, we'll have to end the contract early or something like that. But I think
Okay.
it's arbitrary. It doesn't matter. Okay. And like I said before, I mean, it's one of those deals where you'll find out pretty quick once you get this out into the wild if it's a good
Yeah.
template or not. And it seems fine. I mean, you have the critical information, you ask a couple questions. Um, the one thing that I guess my goals were slightly different, but in the job postings that I've done in the past, I often put something about, you know, I give very good reviews
Oh,
when the
okay.
job's well done. And basically, at the time, I was trying to hire people that were new to Odesk or Elance and they didn't have any reviews. So I would put like, 5-star review, great for new contractors, and then whatever it was. And I was able to get like really good writers, like very good writers that were native English speakers in America with college degrees for like super cheap. And I would only be able to keep them, for a few weeks until I helped them build their ratings. But it was great for both of us. Everybody wins because they have basically 5-star ratings. I'm getting into more details of like how I worked with the contractors, but I would hire them for like jobs of like 2 or 3 articles so that they had basically the opportunity to get more jobs and more ratings, even though it was all with me. So it was like multiple small packages, a little bit more overhead for me, but it was pretty easy because I didn't have to like rewrite a whole thing or look for more contractors. So that's just one idea. But the main
I,
point is you
I
could
really like
add
that.
that you give good reviews.
Would that be like your template? Would you put that like maybe first or second paragraph?
You broke up for just a second. Can you repeat that?
Yeah, I was going to say, if this was the template you were using, would you put that little tidbit of information like first or second paragraph right away?
Yeah, yeah. I would put it probably like where you have the word count is flexible. I maybe would put another like asterisk area like I give good I give good feedback for good contractors because basically a lot of people are not a lot, sorry. There are some people that are shady that will take advantage of writers in particular, and then they also
Sure.
won't give good reviews. So the writer, the contractor ends up, without being paid properly, and they also end up without a review. So it's sort of a bad situation if you set yourself apart in that way. You're more likely to get good reviews also. So
Yeah, I like that. So you can break them up, give them more chance to get those 5-star ratings.
yeah,
And okay, I like that.
cool. All right. Yeah, overall the template looks pretty good. And then when you couple this with the template of what they actually have to write, then it's very clear about what they have to deliver. So that's good. All right. Any other comments about this one?
No, just other than I kind of like that the questions are down at the bottom and really makes them read. So I really feel like this. I mean, obviously, you might have to make some changes to it, but I feel like this is really gonna help land the serious people.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I agree. Um, okay. So let's, it looks like we're about 20 minutes in. So do you have one other favorite template that you wanted to take a look at?
Uh, do we want? hmm, Let's check out the. How about the interview template? So writing interview template,
Okay.
line row 35. This one's pretty short, and this kind of leads me into one of the challenges I was having was, you're going to have review type articles. You're going to have what's the best something. You're going to have different writing books. They're all going to live in different docs. You're then going to have this assignment. But I haven't shown anyone basically the full assignment where here's your 40 articles, 10 of them are review. So I just feel like a lot of information is in different pieces. And as you'll see in this document, they've been hired for an interview, and on the second paragraph, here's the link to the assignment. Do you see any problem with all this fragmented information?
Um, let's see. Okay. So the unfortunate part is when you were talking, that broke up a little bit, but I did hear the last part of your question, and that was around fragmenting the information and if it would be confusing to the contractor, right?
Yeah, so there's a lot of different templates lying in different areas, and I have a fear that there's going to be a lot of fragmentation of all these templates and instructions and stuff like that.
Gotcha. Okay. So potentially, but I think if you feed them the templates at the right time, and then they won't have to say like look back at certain templates again in the future, then it falls off the radar. So that's good. Um, the other part is it sounded like with the job posting template that you were going to post the link within the Elance or Odesk job posting, right? And then they would follow that and look versus like having that in the actual article or not article, but actually in the message of the job posting.
Yeah, that's right.
So that may be an opportunity where you can just copy and paste it over so they don't actually follow a link, so they don't get confused with what's there. Um,
Okay.
Again, that's arbitrary without me doing any testing, but that would be one way to like remove the number of documents. It may not be exactly what you're getting at, Rob, but I do see your point where there's a lot of stuff out there. And then finally, the reality is if you think you'll be able to keep a certain person like on contract for a little while, and it you may have some bumps along the way, but it'll be worth it to train them. And like even if they screw up a few times, but it's like they got confused with the number of documents that were out there, well, then it may be worth it. But they're a good writer. It may be worth it to spend the time to train them a little bit and say, hey, I'm trying to set up this process. Like, what do you recommend? Like, would it be better if we got rid of blah
Sure.
blah blah? But does that help at all?
Yeah, and just recurring theme is like just test it and see how it works in the real world and just go from there.
Exactly. Exactly. Um,
Is there anything on here in terms of the flow that you see? So basically, it's like I say, hey, you've been chosen to be part of a paid interview. This is in regards to this writing assignment. It's for one article. You'll be compensated. You'll be paid, and basically, I'm just going to pay them. What the words are prorated for that article, and then notified if they've been accepted for the full offer.
Got it. Okay. So a couple things to backtrack and make sure everyone who's watching is with us. So you posted a job listing for basically like the full job, right?
With a caveat, no, they don't see like maybe the 20 specific types of articles. They know it's going to be 20 articles, 20,000 words in this niche, and you're going to be writing these types of articles. But I haven't explicitly showed them the specifics.
Got it. Very good. And then if they apply for it, you take a look at their resume, they answer the questions or whatever sufficiently, then you'll send them this job where it's like, hey, I'm not going to take advantage of you. I'm going to pay you for the trial run. And that's where we're at, right?
Yeah, and it's probably will change, but I'm looking to do this with so let's say 3 writers to give me this sample interview assignment.
Got it. Okay. And that's good. That's something that we talked about before where it's better to, instead of just picking one and then putting like a week or 2 or 3 weeks of work on them, and then you lose the time if they flake or they don't do a good job. Now you'll be able to get content from 3 writers. You're paying them, so everybody wins, and then you'll be able to pick the one who writes the best for you. So that's great. The only thing that I see in this is I think Odesk and Elance and other companies, they may not want you. I don't know the policy. Your email is in here, and you said you could contact me directly outside of the thing. I think you could share documents, no problem. And I've actually asked for their, hey, what's your Google account email address? And that was obviously no problem because we're sharing documents on there. But I don't know if it's like against the terms of service to say, hey, you could contact me outside the platform.
Okay.
So dumb little thing. I could be totally wrong, by the way, but that'd be the only thing I see.
But process wise, it's looking okay.
Yeah, looks good. Looks good. I think that's nice. The
I
only, now that we're talking through it, I guess it would only confuse matters if you say, hey, this is a trial, like at the very first posting, if you said, hey, this is a trial job. I like your format better where you say, hey, this is a big job. And then if they make it through, you're like, okay, you've been selected. So yeah, that's a good improvement. I like that.
Yeah, and I'm really excited to see how this playing. I've never tried playing with multiple writers for one assignment, and I've heard so much about different people saying. I think John Haver says it, and I've just heard other people say it. So I'm really excited to give this a whirl.
Cool. Yeah, and I mean, you may end up where you have 2 writers that are pretty good. You probably will just only be able to pick one, but like for your next writing assignment, like you may be able to pick up the second place person or whatever. So, all right, when are you gonna try this flow next, or for the first time?
So right away, I've got 11 review articles for one of my niche sites that I'm going to try it on.
All right.
And that's going to start either next day or the day after, really soon.
Okay. Cool. Let's see here. So we'll come back to that in a second. But okay, so we took a look at some templates. Did you have other questions about anything?
I mean, I could dive into like specifics, but I won't. I think, um, you know, visualizing this whole process, just I keep getting better and better as I work a template. And I'm like, wait, have I already done that? You just have to work through it. And I think until I actually try this out, I'm not going to really be able to answer the question. So, like you said,
Yeah.
spend a lot of time, getting that last 10% perfect, or just be agile and have the feedback right away. So,
Yeah. Cool. So I have two more questions, and then we'll finish up. So um, it sounds like because you're going to implement this process in the next couple days, our next session we'll probably do it in like a week or something, and then it'll really just be like, hey, how did this stuff turn out? So we've gone through a couple sessions where we talked about planning, and then we planned a little bit, and then you created some templates that were actually usable, and now you're going to implement it, so that, and then you're going to get feedback and then adapt it as you need to, right? So so yeah, it sounds like in a week you'd be ready to talk about like how it's going so far, right?
For sure. Yeah.
Okay. And then the second question I have is what I alluded to earlier. So I know before you knew this, you knew the whole process. You knew actually each one of those templates. Obviously, it's not a big deal for you to write an email. Sorry, it didn't work out, or improve your writing template, or whatever correspondence you may have. But we internalize it, and we have to recall it each time. So now you have all this shit down, and like you understand exactly like what you're gonna send when, unless some exception happens. So how do you feel now versus before? Okay, that's the question. Yeah, how do you feel now
That's
versus
fine.
before? Now that you have all this down.
I feel really, really good. Like I feel in control. And, if I'm looking at the bigger picture of my business, like, starting a new website was like I could do the keyword research, but the getting the content out was such a stressful time for me. I was like, man, this is just gonna take so much energy. And what ended up happening was either my content was like crappy, or stuff just wasn't getting done because I hated the process so much. And as I look at my business now, I'm just like, if I nail this system down and just keep going, like I can get niche sites, 20, 30, 40 page niche sites out every 2 weeks, without that stress. So it's just, I'm super excited.
Cool. Cool. Yeah. Earlier when we were talking, I know you were like, "Hey, I'm really excited about the business now, and I'm not. You're not stressed like you were when we were talking, 3, 4 weeks ago." So that's cool. And the interesting thing for me, and I do the same, I do the exact same stuff. I get like frustrated, overwhelmed. I'm like, man, there's just too much stuff to do. And then it turns out like you didn't really generate any new knowledge. You didn't learn anything new, but you like wrote everything down. You went through the process of figuring out where you wanted to go, and then you sort of backed into it. And then there's a lot less mystery about what you're going to be working on when you sit down to your laptop. And that feels really good. So, all right. Anything else, Rob, before we finish up for today?
Oh, that's it. I'll get going on the content.
Okay. Very cool. And I guess I'll hook up with you later, so we can, I guess, make copies of these templates, strip out any I guess, contact information like email addresses, stuff like that. Make sure it's all clean and usable for other folks to use. And then we could put the links below, and we'll link to whoever you were inspired to do that Amazon template. So,
For
all right.
sure.
Cool. Thanks for sharing all this stuff. I'm sure a lot of people will find it very useful.
No problem. My pleasure.
All right, man. We'll talk to you next time.
See you, Doug.
Bye. All right. I think that was a pretty good. And then I'm gonna. I heard you're supposed to snap your fingers so you can get like the right sync, like the audio sync. So I'll be able to sync up the files. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, I've never done it before. So anyway,